Oh no, my favorite brush just started shedding. This is not a drill, you guys. Hello, welcome to my video. If you're from my Instagram, I love you. If you're not from my Instagram, love you all the same. So today I'm recreating an old eye look of mine, and it's this one right here. Although you really wouldn't be able to tell from looking at the original photo. At least in my opinion. I mean, in the 3 years that have passed since I originally did this look, I think that I switched up a lot of techniques, I've evolved in my makeup skills, and I've tried so many different things. So if you're interested in seeing what it took for me to create this look as it is today, then please keep on watching. Woo, girl. Okay, so I remember this look. This wasn't that long ago actually, which is kind of shocking to me. This is May 2019. And I remember envisioning this look in my head and imagining what it would look like afterwards in real life, and that's definitely not how it ended up looking in real life. But regardless, I remember looking at the final product and thinking, wow, I can't believe I'm the one who did this. The blending is fabulous, like this is my best work yet. I was so proud, so I posted this look. Today, looking at it right now, I definitely see the areas in which I can improve. So the look that I'm gonna do today isn't going to look that similar to this one, but I think that's also the cool part about this video idea, because I remember at the time wanting this part of the look to be a cut crease. Now this is definitely not a cut crease, but I didn't know how to do a cut crease in 2019. I barely knew a little bit, but I didn't really, so I didn't have the skill set to do that at the time, but I do now. So I'm gonna improve on that. I am going to turn this into the look that I originally had in mind while I was creating it. Elephant in the room though, I am wearing a giant oversized t-shirt. It's a Trixie Cosmetics t-shirt. I'm very excited about meeting her soon. If you missed all of that info, I'm gonna link it up here for you. But other than that, I'm just gonna start with my base. Okay, so another fun thing that I decided to do today is I'm gonna use the exact same eyeshadows and the same eyeshadow palette that I used while I was creating this look. Now the reason why I remember which eyeshadow palette I was using is because A, at the time I had just gotten it. It was new to my collection. So I know that I was doing literally every eye look almost with this exact palette. And B, this is an eyeshadow palette that I still use to this day, and I actually still use it quite often. I love it very much. It's the Carnival palette, the first Carnival palette by Be Perfect and Stacey Marie, and it is an incredible palette. If you're looking to get into makeup, it's a great one. It really has everything you need. And using it today is going to be fun in my opinion, because you're going to be able to see that even though I'm using the exact same shadows as I was using in the picture, they're gonna look completely different, and they're gonna look extremely pigmented, way more pigmented than they did at the time of me originally creating this look, which will just prove that you can use absolutely any eyeshadows, but if you just switch up your technique a little bit, it's gonna make a world of difference. Because at the time, I do remember I was using a concealer or my foundation, I think, as an eyeshadow base, and I was setting it with translucent powder. That was the thing that I did back then. Now I don't do that anymore. As you can see, I just applied my P. Louise base on my eyes, and now I'm not setting it with anything. This is a clean brush. I'm just patting it down a little bit so that it's not as wet, but it's still gonna be tacky. So already, even though that seems like not that big of a difference, it is gonna make a world of difference with what our final product looks like. So that's just one thing. But right now, I am just using a tiny detailed brush to sketch out the cut crease shape that I want to achieve with this look. Now the goal for this isn't for it to be perfect. This is not a graphic liner. I'm just sketching out the shape, which I am going to fill with eyeshadow later on anyway. Now I'm taking that same shade. The shade is called Liquor, by the way, and I'm just applying it to a small detailed blending brush. And I'm really just going over the shape that I created and sort of buffing out and blending out the edges. Okay, so this is the goal. This is what I wanted it to look like. Now I'm just gonna do the same on the other eye as well. Okay, so now I got a brush cleaner and I cleaned off the same brush that I was using, and I dipped it into a red shade that, using the 50-50 technique, I'm gonna apply half on my skin and half on that purple shade that I already applied on my eye so that the two shades blend together really well. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but I didn't use a red in the original look. I just went straight into orange and then yellow, but I'm gonna use one today because that's gonna make the blend way more seamless. And this is a red from the Carnival I Love Tahiti palette. The shade is called Chili Pepper and it's blending in beautifully with that purple shade. And as you can see, I'm not really focusing on what the upper blend of that red is gonna look like. I'm focusing more on what the purple and red blend looks like together, that those two shades are blended in seamlessly. The next step, I again cleaned off the same brush and I dipped into shade Lit, which is a bright sort of neon orange, and I'm applying that shade right above the red. Now at this point, because of the blending, I've lost some of the intensity of the red shade, but I'm not worried about that. I'm gonna intensify it again later. At this point, I'm just making sure that I leave a little bit of space up top for that last yellow shade, which is gonna bring everything together really beautifully. So now, yet again, I cleaned off that same brush for the last time, and I'm now dipping into the shade Keen and blending that orange out. Now I'm dipping back into that orange shade and just applying it wherever I see that it needs a little bit of intensifying. And again, dipping into that red shade and doing the exact same thing. And lastly, I'm doing the same thing with that purple shade, using a very light hand though. Now with some Vaseline on a flat brush, I'm just cutting the crease. My favorite part about this is that it's such a messy process, but once it's over, it's so satisfying. Now I'm just cleaning up the excess Vaseline with a cosmetic Q-tip. This could also be done with a regular Q-tip, but this one is more precise, so that's why I do it like this. So now that that's done, we're gonna emulate the same shape on the other eye. Then once I do this, the fun part can truly begin. So now I'm just reapplying my eye base. Of course, doing the same thing on the other eye. So now, with my purple, I'm drawing on a liner shape that connects to my lower lash line as well. So the wing isn't too big in the picture, so I'm not gonna make it too big either. Okay, this doesn't have to be perfect. Now what I believe I was trying to do now is sort of slightly smoke out this liner and then finish with the orange and yellow right around here. But it's not blended too well in the photo, so I'm gonna switch that up a little bit. So I'm using the red shade and applying it slightly above that wing liner. And again, I'm doing the same thing over here. So now I'm moving on to the orange, and again, I'm applying that right above the red shade, except I'm also gonna smoke this shade out a little bit higher than I did the red. Okay, so sort of like that. So one last time, I'm dipping into the yellow and blending it above the orange, but I am leaving a little bit of space above that yellow free. Now, just like I did on the top, I'm doing the exact same thing here. I am taking the shades in the reverse order and applying them wherever I see fit because I did lose some of their intensity while I was blending. Before I clean up the edges, I'm just slightly buffing out the lower lash line. I'm now grabbing a little bit of eye base and just cleaning up and sharpening those edges. Okay, so I finished the rest of my face off camera because it really has nothing to do with today's video, but now let's comment on the eye look. So you know what my inspiration photo looks like, but this is the eye look that I finished right now, and also I'm gonna pop some pictures up on the screen for you. So basically, I think I held true to the main theme of this look. As you can see, the colors are all the same. It's even the same eyeshadow palette. The only thing that I did change is in fact the technique of how I did the eyeshadow. At the time, I can't quite remember what my technique was. I don't even know if I really had a technique. I think I was just trying out a bunch of different things and then seeing how that looks and what I like and, you know, how it blends and how it works together and all of that. So thankfully, after all these years, that has gotten better. And I also think that the blending has also gotten better. I won't say that the blending on this photo is bad by any means. You know, I think the yellow is blended out pretty well and there's no harsh lines, but I just feel like now it's way more, you know? And even though obviously this look is a tad bit more dramatic than the look I originally did, I do think that it gives off the same vibe, except right now I am happier with it. I also prefer how I blended eyeshadows with the liner today versus in the past. So all of this to say, basically be proud of where you are right now. Don't dismiss where you were in the past, and you know, keep an eye out where you want to be in the future. And I know that's super cliche or whatever, but honestly, that's how I do it, and it helps me to every once in a while, once I'm feeling down and once I'm feeling like I'm making no progress, look back at my previous art and then discover that I am in fact making progress. But you also do have to remember that practice is everything, and there always will be new things to learn. So obviously I don't think that I'm at my peak right now, and hopefully I'm not anyway. I hope to continue growing and learning and, you know, educating myself on this subject and every other subject in life. So maybe I'll repeat this video after a few years. What do we think of that idea? But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!